Tonight, we're going to take you to one of the most toxic places on Earth, a place that government officials and gangsters don't want you to see. It's a town in China where you can't breathe the air or drink the water, a town where the blood of the children is laced with lead. It's worth risking a visit because much of this poison is coming out of the homes, schools, and offices of America. This is a story about recycling, about how your best intentions to be green can be channeled into an underground sewer that flows from the United States and into the wasteland. That wasteland is piled with the burning remains of some of the most expensive, sophisticated stuff that consumers crave. And we discovered that the gangs who run this place wanted to keep it a secret.
He said if we don't leave, we may get beaten up.
What are they hiding? The answer lies in the first law of the digital age. Newer is better. In with the next thing and out with the old TV, phone, or computer. All of this becomes obsolete electronic garbage called e-waste. You know, my computer seems like such a smooth, clean machine. What's inside it?
Lead, cadmium, mercury, chromium, polyvinyl chlorides. All of these materials have known toxicological effects that range from brain damage to kidney disease to mutations, cancers.
Alan Hershkowitz is a senior scientist and authority on waste management at the Natural Resources Defense Council.
The problem with e-waste is that it is the fastest growing component of the municipal waste stream worldwide.
What do you mean fastest growing?
Well, we throw out about 130,000 computers every day in the United States.
In the United States alone?
Correct. And we throw out over 100 million cell phones every year.
And here's what that looks like. At a recycling event in Denver, we found cars bumper to bumper for blocks in a line that lasted for hours. Most folks in line were hoping to do the right thing, expecting that their waste would be recycled in state-of-the-art facilities that exist here in America. But really, there's no way for them to know where all of this is going. The recycling industry is exploding, and as it turns out, some so-called recyclers are shipping the waste overseas where it's broken down for the precious metals inside. When the container left Tacoma, we followed it for 7,459 miles to this place, Victoria Harbor, Hong Kong. It turns out the container that started in Denver was just one of thousands of containers on an underground, often illegal smuggling route taking America's electronic trash to the Far East. Our guide to that route was Jim Puckett, founder of the Basel Action Network, a watchdog group named for the treaty that's supposed to stop rich countries from dumping toxic waste on poor ones. Puckett runs a program to certify ethical recyclers, and he showed us what's piling up in Hong Kong.
I mean, it's literally acres of computer monitors. Is it legal to import all of these computer monitors into Hong Kong? No way. This is absolutely illegal, both from the standpoint of Hong Kong law, but also U.S. law and Chinese law. But it's happening.
We followed the trail to a place Puckett discovered in southern China, a sort of Chernobyl of electronic waste, the town of Guiyu. We got in.
This is really the dirty little secret of the electronic age.
Here's a CRT stand.
Oh, yeah.
So they've been dismantling the CRTs as well.
A little bit of everything in here, and this is the place where they're clearly doing the burning.
Greenpeace has been filming around Guiyu and caught the recycling work. Women were heating circuit boards over a coal fire, pulling out chips and pouring off the lead solder. Men were using what is literally a medieval acid recipe to extract gold. Pollution has ruined the town. Drinking water is trucked in. Scientists have studied the area and discovered that Guiyu has the highest levels of cancer-causing dioxins in the world. They found that pregnancies are 6 times more likely to end in miscarriage, and that 7 out of 10 kids have too much lead in their blood.
Open, uncontrolled burning of plastics, chlorinated and brominated plastics, is known worldwide to cause the emission of polychlorinated and polybrominated dioxins. These are among the most toxic compounds known on Earth. We have a situation where we have 21st century toxics being managed in a 17th century environment.
The recyclers are peasant farmers who couldn't make a living on the land. Destitute, they have come by the thousands to get $8 a day. Greenpeace introduced us to some of them. They were afraid and didn't want to be seen, but these are the hands that are breaking down America's computers.
The air I breathe in every day is so pungent I can definitely feel it in my windpipe and affecting my lungs. It makes me cough all the time.
If you're worried about your lungs and you're burning your hands, do you ever think about giving this up?
Yes, I've thought of that.
And why don't you?
Because the money's good.
It struck me, talking to those workers the other day, that they were destitute and they're happy to have this work.
Well, desperate people will do desperate things, but we should never put them in that situation. You know, it's a hell of a choice between poverty and poison. We should never make people make that choice.
It's a town in China where you can't breathe the air or drink the water, a town where the blood of the children is laced with lead. It's worth risking a visit because much of this poison is coming out of the homes, schools, and offices of America. This is a story about recycling, about how your best intentions to be green can be channeled into an underground sewer that flows from the United States and into the wasteland.
Humans have run into trouble because we have failed to follow nature's rules. In nature, growth is good because nothing is wasted. What is waste for one is always food for another.
We're not talking here about eliminating waste. We're talking about eliminating the entire concept of waste. And when you eliminate the concept of waste, everything is nutrition. Waste equals food.
Bill McDonough and Michael Braungart are proposing that all human-made products belong to either the biological cycle or the technical cycle. In the biological cycle, everything must be safe for consumption by living things. Products must be designed so they can return safely to air, water, and soil. These are called products of consumption.
Well, within the biological metabolism, a product can actually be consumed. It can go back to natural systems. So we call that a product of consumption because you can actually consume it. So something that could either abrade or dissolve or wear out is something we would call a product of consumption, something that goes back to the natural world as a result of its use.
Humans also depend on products that contain materials that cannot return safely to air, water, and soil. These products are made from materials that McDonough and Braungart call technical nutrients. Such products must be designed so that their technical nutrients are recaptured in their own closed cycle and do not contaminate the biological cycle. These are termed products of service.
Within the technical metabolism, we have what we call products of service. What you want is the service of the product, not necessarily the ownership of the molecules themselves. Let's say you're a business and you need computers. If you get a computer, what are you really getting? You're getting toxic heavy metals, you're getting lots of chemicals, you're getting potentially an explosive glass tube. Do you really want to buy all those things? What you really want is the service of the computer. And when you finish with it, wouldn't it be marvelous if you could call up Michael Dell and say, thank you so much, I finished with the service, I'd like a new one, please? That's what we call the product of service concept. And you can apply it to cars, you can apply it to shoes, you can apply it to television sets, anything you want.